All right, it's 8 o'clock. Call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so a little disappointed that we're going to be going for the speed record when we have to be here at 10 o'clock anyway. All right, I think this will be a relatively quick one. We'll start off by opening the public hearing for the 2023-2024 village budget. If you're on mute on Zoom, make sure you unclick before you start talking to us. Anybody here have any questions or comments on the village budget? It's super interesting. All right, anyone on Zoom? Final warning, if you're talking, you're muted. Okay. Hearing none, we will close the public hearing on the budget. Next up is the public hearing to lift the tax cap. Shannon, do you still want to do that or you want to skip it right over? All right, we'll skip that.
There's a tax cap. Those tax caps already in there.
Okay.
Don't need it, don't, yeah.
As that down in your, okay, cool. All right, we'll move on to the village board meeting minutes from last month or from 2 weeks ago, depending on.
Make a motion to approve minutes from last meeting.
All right, any questions? All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, move on to the treasurer's report. Shannon, do you want to give us a quick summary of this sheet here?
What she.
The tax cap, yeah, just because
Yeah, there's another copy in the budget.
Okay.
But basically. There's this really complicated formula that the state has to find out if you need to raise a tax cap or not. Well, they have a handy dandy tool online that does it for you. Basically it shows, you know, our tax levy last year and then, our tax levy limit is 402, 998. But our proposed levy is 397, 918, so that's why we don't need to raise it. Because yes, based on the current tax base.
do you know, or I see the pilot section here is 0.
Yeah,
I sharpied on the bottom of this table
That's-
squeaks, but
that's an assumption right now, because we don't really know. Me and Peggy had talked about it, and it's. They're basing, this tax levy is based off of last year's numbers, so that pilot is still in there, however, that's sold.
right,
So the timeline of that catching up of where it hits in the year,
sure.
so we're assuming 0.
Okay, so just to understand why losing the pilot would affect us on the tax cap, is it because the pilot is separate money and it is not included in the 2%, or why, I guess, would? Because we were worried that losing the pilot would put us over. And is that
Right, because that property now, it's taxable, so.
Pilot doesn't go against it, pilot payment in lieu of.
right? But I didn't know if that counted
it's
towards.
50%. You get 50%, that's what that pilot was,
Okay,
so.
so they were paying 50% of their assessed value because it was a new dev for N years till it was sold, but it didn't count towards the 2%. I see, okay.
It's its own, it's called a special district
But-
tax.
Oh, but does the taxable value on that still go towards the 2%? So we're calculating, I see.
It's back,
I see.
that
Okay,
was on the exemption,
okay,
so now it's back into
Okay.
the tax roll.
okay,
But we are good based on the 2.8.
Okay, cool. easy. I guess any other questions on the tax cap before we move to the treasurer report? Right,
Okay. Kind of a busy month. We had water and sewer out. Brendan's been bringing in some money for canning out. No real money in back from Yasny yet for Martin Square Park, but we did get some in the ground floors. There are 4 pay requests out right now to try and recoup that money. And I guess that's moving toward your bank balances here. Once we get that in, you'll see a huge jump there. Because we've been borrowing to pay.
Do we know if, so there are parts of, either parts of the budget, state budget. For all that are in a blackout period until July 1st, in terms of budget, the, payments. So, for example, my organization is waiting for, a pretty sizable dollar amount, but we have to now wait until July 1st. So I'm just wondering, I hope we're not, it's a different, municipal reimbursement, maybe.
We're hoping to get payment, or here at least within the next couple of weeks.
Good, right,
To be able to continue to push forward with audit and everything.
yeah.
If no payment, then we'll have that conversation that we've got to pivot for June or
Right,
we
right.
get money.
Okay, but they haven't told you that, so that's good, that there's nothing that. I think the blackout.
How are we on timeline? Like, when would we need to tell them to pull back?
It'll be the next few weeks. And it's not necessarily, they know that they're gonna get their money.
Right, right, so they may decide
It's
not
just,
to,
yeah.
but, and they've got a decent amount already, so.
Yeah.
We've been pretty quick, yeah. Okay. Is that something you guys have talked about at all?
Not yet.
Okay. Do you want to follow, just let them know that?
Yeah,
And Shannon, if you hear either way,
Yeah,
just let Brenda know. and then-
that's all I have. Make a motion to accept the treasurer report.
Second that motion.
All right, any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
I have a question, not on the report. Just a question in terms of. Our trusted agency fund detail. Do we have specs on those somewhere to quickly refer to in terms of its restrictedness, state of Whaley Trust or?
Oh, yeah,
Camp
I'm
Trust?
sure.
All right, because,
Thank you.
we may be considering. Some of
You can
that.
figure out what you're.
And I just want, just want to make sure we're ready with that, right? So.
Yeah.
Very good. Thanks.
As for the bills, I think only Greg and I have been through them, so we can't vote for that yet. Maybe is that, we gotta have three at least. So, yeah. So if.
Yep.
Who's best at multitasking can be number three, because we only need three of us to do it. So,
Like we're looking this way.
all right. On your treasurer, we had the resolution 9. We were gonna hold that off, right?
That's for whenever. Oh, we need to set that date because it has to be done before April 30th.
Right.
So we need to set that date.
Okay, do we want to set it relatively close so we have more time, or do you, I mean, I know you guys, a couple people are gone for a few weeks or a week and change, but we can do this just as a Zoom meeting only and pass it without much time commitment.
That goes 2 weeks of April.
Do you need any time, or is it just that that has to be passed? Okay, do you want to do the 26th? And we'll just say 6 o'clock on the 26th. We'll presume Zoom only. And if there's a reason,
Unless there's a bunch of bills that come in that I have to pay. it would
Okay.
be easier to pay bills before.
Local.
Yeah, I'll be around too.
I don't use it.
okay,
I'll be here.
great.
All right. Cool.
So 26, 6 p.m. and then we'll keep it tight. All right.
Should probably give you the what's up for again. I was multitasking. I said that. No,
I
you don't need a full 30 days. You can do it within 26.
It has.
No,
to
the
be
public
done-
hearing was announced before, so that's good. It's just that we have to finalize it before the 30th.
Right.
I got,
And the public hearing.
Or we could-
happen for the 15th, that's why we're here today,
I got
but
you.
it doesn't have to be adopted until the 30th of April.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
All right. Shannon, anything else?
No.
All right, any other questions for her before we move on to? Is Lynn on Zoom or? Okay. Kelly, do you have anything from Lynn to?
I do.
Okay. We'll pass it to you then.
Yeah, you just wanted to let us know that they have taken possession of the new truck. It's been picked up. It's far outfitted. And they're getting it, I think they built the work piece on the back of it, so it's in, you should be seeing it on the street.
Thanks.
The water plant inspection was done, the full report will be set for the next week. And they started that spring, roadside cleanup, what happens when the house go by and they put divots in the side of the road, they're going back and fixing that for people, so. Not too much, it's only about a couple of weeks, but they're busy working and.
They've been talking about a pickup day for spring.
I will ask him, I'm sure he's on his radar, he hasn't said it yet, yeah.
So we may, our next meeting is full meeting is in May, so before that, we're probably gonna come out with that date, so we just gotta push it out.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can put it on the board.
Yeah.
Those and then those, yeah,
Mhm.
once he sets it, he's pretty good. It's usually a little-
Yeah.
He's waiting to set it.
Had it on the snow.
Yeah, if he sets it now, we'll get another blizzard, so.
Oh. Thanks. Good,
Thank you very
change
much.
that.
Well,
I have-
no,
I have
no,
a
day
change
before,
to
I'm
make.
saying. Jim, yeah, it's a good Jim for it.
Oh, I like you guys' tone right now.
It's early.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. we could do.
I do know that the only thing pending for the truck. To be paid, there's a bunch of bills in there for it, the plow. Has been ordered, moved, just waiting for that to be converted.
Maybe it's in April, maybe it's in May. I would be interested though in seeing where we landed, you know.
He's already underbid. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about.
Which budget year? it's-
For everything, you know, actual versus.
Oh,
okay,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's another pretty quick turnaround on Jared's welding skills being useful, because
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're welding out the bed together.
I know you pay a lot of bills in the year, right?
Yeah.
So.
We're getting close there, going through those
10%.
last night. Getting close.
All right, anything else for Kelly? Let's go back to DPW. Cool. John is not here. We will move on to fire department.
Report.
Oh, is it in there?
See it in the packet, but it wasn't uploaded.
Oh, I'll pull it up real quick.
Yeah, there it is right there.
Oh, perfect.
The only thing I saw that I wondered about was that fuel bump, but, okay. That was in the barracks, a resident that lives outside of the barracks was using their dumpster. So,
Oh, you can't do that?
so, it wasn't. I don't know if it was Erica's. Old. But, some residents called it in. And then the complex called and, John went over to the person's house. Okay. I mean,
Yeah. It's just a little theft of services.
And that.
Yeah, that's
is-
funny.
And you could see, does it say? No,
Trucks still need outfitted right now as well.
yes,
Yeah.
it's. Yep, it's still up here, so it has not been brought down to Binghamton or wherever it needs to go to get out with it.
Okay, and did I hear you say he hired some new employees to that? Or that
He has, yeah, he has 4,
There's only 3 in
there
there.
was one
Okay.
last month.
Cool.
Last month, I think.
Are those the only associated like costs to us for new people?
What?
Like the Ident-Go $88?
That's new, that's just something new, like normally these people come and they're completely.
So now we have to
everything to the
re-background them
county.
even though they're county.
Right,
Okay.
it's
Right.
something.
Are
it's
there
something
other
new.
like one-off costs when we bring on someone new?
Not really.
Cool.
So. And that. would
Because we have like
keep us
18
placed.
now, right?
I've asked John
Okay.
to provide us a list. I'll give it to you guys.
Sure.
Of
Yeah,
Who's on the road?
Honestly, like a picture and a name would be great, so that we
Right.
don't feel, you don't know who the hell they are when we
Right,
go talk to
I
them.
see a new one, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's just part of his plan, his rotation, but I wouldn't mind having that consolidated list.
It'd be nice to know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think right now on payroll, once these 4 are in. It'll bring them to, I think it's 9 or 10. There's one that never works, you know, there's a couple that never work, but they're still. On the payroll, but
They're not getting
They
paid, though.
need it
They're not
to.
getting paid.
They like to work.
yeah.
well, also, I mean, not for nothing, I'm sure some of them don't, so it's, if there's people who are happy to work on a holiday, we're better
Right.
off, because. Some of the guys may want to go shoot fireworks.
Conley and Steve knows we're talking about. Trying to get on,
Oh, too late.
yeah,
Well, we already did.
I'd say I should,
You should
I-
receive a letter in the mail.
okay,
What's that?
All right,
All right.
cool, all right, so police department's all good, on,
Fire report this month.
Yeah, it's only been 2 weeks.
So. It's 5 months ago. They did report on that.
great, on to Heritage Area, Visitor Center.
Yeah,
Both
just
here?
to follow up, we had made requests to purchase, to make 3 purchases last time. And I gave quotes to Shannon. So this one is for the trail map. Low quote came in at 1,190, well, 94 basically. And there's money in the current year budget for all of these. Trail signs, 875, and then the visitor center counter at 2,742.
That quote is the last page, or one of the last pages in there.
Did you get more than one quote on the, I saw that in the, did we get more than one for
We have
the?
3, but
Well,
we got them wrong.
Yeah, on for the signs, I tried to get quotes from 3, we only got 2 quotes, but I tried to get quotes from 3 people, but there's 3 quotes in there for the counter and for the map.
Did you guys do the design for the map, the little signs yet?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's already to the printer.
Oh, it is, rats, okay, I was just gonna suggest putting a QR code to, like, I know you guys are making a map, or you have one like on the visitor center guide, might be,
yeah, we had talked.
but if it's,
Excuse me, thinking about doing it as a sticker.
sure,
Then
that- oh,
we
that's
could
true, then you can
always
change it
replace
out
them
if,
if we
yeah,
need to
cool,
do that.
easy.
That wasn't something that they could do for us, building that.
Oh, no, they're going.
They're gonna build the pedestal, but the sign itself,
Right.
I meant the counter.
Oh,
I meant the counter,
hmm.
sorry.
No.
I didn't
Did you,
need to ask
oh,
them.
go check out Shannon's desk real quick, because they did that with Butcher Block and
That's
Filing
what I was
Cabinets.
saying. They built that desk in there.
How much did it save you? Do you know what that cost? Total?
Well, we got
Wait,
two of
we're
them,
at
there. You buy your filing cabinet.
974 for
900, yeah.
the filing cabinets, and each piece of butcher block was $250.
Okay, so it was like $1,500.
Comparable to a real
Yeah.
a desk, however, it's
It
not
wouldn't
part
be
of
as-
the board. and
Yeah, yeah, it's nice. It's, well, yeah, I looked at it too. You can move it if you need to. So
Yes.
just take a peek in there and see, because it might be more, it might be nicer,
It's
but
just an idea.
Can I do that by May 31st? One.
Yeah.
Because we gotta spend.
yeah, because you just gotta buy them, like, all they did is put glue on the thing and push down.
okay, we'll talk.
So,
Yeah.
but take a look. It's,
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
fine with it, I just thought
Okay.
if you hadn't asked him, he might be able to.
Butcher block turn out.
Yeah,
We've
it's
asked,
really
them-
nice.
we've asked them to do a lot of stuff, but
I know.
You
yeah,
got a lot for us.
yeah, I mean, that's, the thing is that was not even a 15-minute task for him so much as
It's
just
longer go to the low.
to get the stuff with
It's
it.
be longer to sand and stain the things, you know.
That's fair.
credit For that.
So you're gonna stay, you'll sand and stain it for, second time's faster, you know?
it's true.
All right, well, anyway, take a look, but
And
yeah,
I do have a question on the budget, because I'm confused.
the public hearing's done, Dave.
Well, I'm asking you the staff person.
I'm just,
just Because I understood that we got everything we requested, like the heritage area, but
Yes.
the number, maybe I'm reading the budget wrong, but I don't see that. I guess which column do we go by?
There was some consolidation, I think, because. as I mean,
well, there's trail money in you and the
Yeah.
DPW's request, so that might be why this sum is coming that up.
Okay.
trails and-
If the budget that's being passed is the budget
Well,
requested.
this is the proposed, we still might have changes between now and when we actually pass it. For example, there's a couple of things. We haven't. She put every number in the budget for everyone to ask.
Okay,
As a board, we haven't sat down and said yes, no, yet. So right now, everything's in the budget
okay,
that was asked for. But we have time between now and April 26th now to decide, are we gonna alter any of that?
okay.
So I believe everything that you asked for is in there.
Okay, so we're going by, right now, it's the,
It's the left.
yeah, okay,
What's the left column?
the
Yeah.
request, okay.
It's
Yeah.
the left column, yeah, so you have to, that's
Yeah.
another.
The right column was what we thought it was.
Yeah, okay,
No, those were, the right was what was appropriated for 2023 for this year.
For the current budget year.
Yeah.
Okay, it just didn't say
Requested.
2023 dash.
Oh, sure.
So we didn't know,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, this would be 2024.
yeah, okay, fine. That's it.
Cool.
Never mind.
Never mind.
As part of my report, there is also the quote from Spectrum Internet in there, so we'll call and get that set up, gets that page there.
I say for the extra $7.99 a month, get the Wi-Fi.
Okay,
That's just my personal.
That's what we.
So
We have to do
the other night.
you don't have to. The question is whether you buy your own router or not. And I did get, this morning I had one, Steele still hasn't gotten back to me, but Doyle did. And sorry, Steele didn't get back to me yet about the IT stuff, but Doyle did as of sometime last night. I saw it this morning. And Russell thinks there's tree risk. He's like, it might work, or we might install the thing, and then like on windy days, you're not going to get signal. So he recommended we just pay for internet there, and he's still going to they spec'd out the cameras, but they don't think they're going to be able to interconnect just because of where the tree line
so we
is.
actually need this.
But
in order to-
the question is like, if you want to not get the Wi-Fi router, we could just put one in that we own instead of paying $8 a month for theirs,
I think we should.
but it doesn't really matter.
Not pay $8 a
Yeah,
month.
because
Need
they're,
a router, I just say, go to Best Buy.
yeah,
Okay.
well, and also if we see when they'll come and install, Doyle maybe if their specs have like the equipment on it, and they may be able to send us that piece right away if we go with them, or with Steel, same thing.
Okay,
So it may be we want to hold off until at least this gets installed before we buy it, in case it's not the one that they would recommend, because it's in order to power cameras, it's going to have to be a little heftier than like a residential router. If we're gonna, because right now their spec is to have a Wi-Fi connection to the bandstand, so we have cameras on the docks and the graffiti gallery bathroom there. Again, oh boy, the bank has a freaking camera right
They
there.
wrote it, and then there apparently someone really had.
You know what?
And there's no water.
Recently?
Better in there than just outside.
I don't have time to do that if you gotta go.
Like, what sort of person has, that's wild. Like, you plan ahead enough to have a lockpick. Yeah.
But yeah, I think sorry, I should have mentioned that before.
That's-
We keep kind of talking about putting like a different lock on, because we keep having this problem. Of
Sure.
Jimmy Wade that.
Is there a reason is it the breezes in the, yeah, okay.
Although he is getting ready to open it, he's waiting for like, are we consistently gonna have nice weather? He's thinking crew downtown might be able to use it for the inside.
Yes.
Is there, I don't generally go on that side of the building. Is there a sign that says closed seasonally?
Well, I assume if it's locked, people know.
Well, right now, it's fenced off right now. Well, why is one?
Break in.
No, I don't think it is, because I was down there, I was down walking and I saw several people. They would pull up in their car, somebody has to go, and they go and they try the door.
I see.
It's locked, and like, then they're like, I don't know why, and then
Yeah,
they're
I see.
upset, and I'm trying not to
Yeah.
allow people to be upset, I'm trying to give them an explanation, so. I just asked the question because it's a minor fix to say.
Yeah, we could just,
Close for the season, you know.
is there any other map they could go to where we could put a sign that says, this one's closed?
This is it.
Well, we're not open either though, so yeah.
we don't have a, but yeah, I mean, is there? I mean,
Most of the
could we just put a heater in there?
Don't let you use the bathroom unless you
I
actually
don't know if you can.
purchase something. So there's literally no washrooms downtown available once
Yeah.
that one is
Yeah,
closed,
so-
speaking
Yeah.
of a downtown person.
We got a few regulars once people figured out that we would let people in, and
You need a sign.
better there than
I know.
somewhere
it's
else.
what-
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Miss Atkinson.
I mean, should we-
Hold it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Should we just put a heater in there?
No.
We've talked to Lynn about it and it would take quite a bit of.
Well, because the pump station's there, so I just assumed it's there's some heat. But, okay, well, that's not an
So,
urgent problem.
Back to the internet, so I'm gonna go with the regular service and the one-time installation, but we'll buy a router for the Wi-Fi ourselves.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah, and just let me know when if they give you an install date, give me a heads up and I'll try and make sure that if we do need to make a decision on the router, that they at least tell us which type to buy.
Okay,
Because I'm sure both of them, it'll be comparable, whoever we go with, because it just needs to be hard, it's got to handle 4 cameras. If we want to put 4 cameras there.
okay, so it can't just be a residential one that we.
Yeah, yeah, so just,
I was gonna say I could just go buy one, but.
right, but if they're not gonna install, like, Spectrum might take a month, so just
They may.
just ping me when they give you the install date window, and then I can like rush or not rush, depending on when that is.
This one going record, your track record with all this Wi-Fi stuff is pretty bad.
Works great here. The problem is like, these guys are not very speedy, so. We got a quote from Doyle. Steele was trying to get up in the tower with Lynn to see. But Russell did line of sight from the visitor center, and I think he's kind of, like, I learned all my tech stuff from him when I was a kid. So if he thinks it's not doable, it's probably not. He's the one who he rigged up the internet and the barracks. And they're bouncing it off a tower because they wouldn't let him drill through the stone. So he's used to doing those. They do a bunch of island internet. So if he thinks it's not possible.
Actually move forward.
Yeah, so the pieces where
Actually make some progress.
yeah, so I'll send you guys the Doyle quote I got this morning or last night. And that's 3 pieces. Yeah, so I'm not physically in charge of the companies that I asked for quotes. So if they don't respond, there's nothing I can do. But Steele has not gotten back to me yet. Doyle did, like I said, I got it last night.
About this for 3 months.
Again, that's true, but if you would like to go and talk to them, you're welcome to. I'm not in charge of their scheduling.
Is it, there's just gonna be 2 quotes then?
So the third guy we talked to said that for this job, he would contract it with Steele. They're two companies that are, they work together sometimes. Steele said he's coming with it.
What about advanced businesses?
Is that, what's the other guy? What's the name of the guy that came into your office here? Oh, I thought that was Taylor or something.
Taylor is another. It's been a condensed time here.
Yeah, so I met and toured the village with the locations with 3 people. One said, and I messaged you guys when he said this, he said that normally he would contract it with Steele. So he's like, yeah, that's Taylor. Steele was this week trying to connect with Lynn to get up the tower to finalize his quote. I don't think he could. He didn't answer me Friday when I asked him where he was. Doyle sent me theirs last night, sometime after I stopped checking my email. But theirs is chunked, which is nice because they've got 3 pieces. One is
So.
yeah, anyway, we can talk to that in old business. That's fine. All right, you got anything else besides that?
Just, yeah, our opening day will be Saturday, May 6th. We're gonna try and be open every weekend.
Cinco de Mayo party?
I'm sorry.
Cinco de Mayo party?
6.
Oh, yeah, the Derby is, what time is the Derby
It would be
party?
States
At,
denial.
Six.
well, yeah, but you have the party on. All right.
But it will be for all of May and all of June.
Are you guys, are you doing anything on opening day or just kind of?
If we just get all our ducks in a row, we'll be happy because this
Cool.
is earlier than we.
Yeah, yeah.
opened, so we're just trying to extend this a little bit, yeah.
Cool.
Amend the visitor center for getting open earlier, and that's good.
And the bathroom will be available.
Yeah, that's right. So May 6th,
Yeah, weekend.
there'll be weekend bath, but the village hall's open during the week, right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's
You
something,
take
you
the hold it. Right.
can go during business hours.
That's,
Um, The other thing that I wanted to point out, we also started a booking calendar. It's just a little bit farther down on there. Yeah, we just migrated into Google Calendar for all of the village bookings. So if anyone with access to the Google Workspace should now be able to see the calendar for the bandstand and for the visitor center.
Cool.
I wish the village would get on.
You'll still need to contact us for the booking, but at least you can see the availability.
Do you have is it different calendars for each location
I
or?
did a different calendar
Cool.
for each, yes.
That's nice, so
for two.
different colors,
Yeah,
yeah,
and they're different
awesome.
colors, yes. Yeah, and
Is there a link available for like editing so that Erica can put?
So you
That's
can,
for
she can
sure.
add her own,
Yeah.
yeah, you want your own that's,
so.
we
if
would
these are
want one
specific- I've
for,
got one that's specific visitor center, one specific bandstand, so
Okay.
you would probably do one specifically for this building.
Okay.
Because I was treating it like rentals.
yeah. If you set them all up as shared, anyone can subscribe to each one, so it's not super hard to do.
Okay.
We have a connector to automatically pull the Proud City ones into a Google Calendar. But I have to just make sure it's configured because I haven't, we put that together right when we did the website,
Yeah.
but it needs to be checked on because it's just a script that runs. So I'll see if it's still working or if it needs a tweak, and that might save you the
And
time.
if there's one of those slideshows for specifically the calendar, that might be good for her.
Okay.
Because she has.
Yeah, true.
Recently.
Not to say that there's anything awful on ours, but would ours be then linking up to yours? Because I didn't really make it for public consumption. But I can.
Oh, I see.
I just made it for, for us to know behind the scenes.
Let's circle back because I think,
Right.
yeah. I mean, not a lot of people are going to subscribe to Google
No.
Calendar, so it's not
But
like,
it's just
but it might be
good for us
nice
to
to,
know.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
know what, we can talk, well, I'll just bring that later, but. Internally, that calendar you can share on the Google site piece that I had, right, that'd be
Yeah.
good, right?
yeah, so that, I mean, that would be for all of us who have.
Yeah.
this in the workspace,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't planning to broadcast it out beyond
That
that.
makes sense.
Well, we can look at it and we'll all get subscribed to it so we can see, and if we think it's good for the public, we can open it
Okay.
up.
Yeah, just let me know before you do that, just so we're not putting.
You just gotta take out like all your snarky comments about the events.
Like, I'm not trying to say I'm putting.
Yeah, I get you.
Weird or profane stuff on there, but it's maybe not all for public consumption.
Sure.
Marathon stupid board meeting.
All right.
That's how I write it down.
Anything else, Kathy?
The guide, we're on the final proof, it's going to the printer this week, it should be back in time
Cool.
for the TI council swap. I'm not sure if it'll be back
Do
in
you-
time for our opening day.
Do you have like a PDF of that?
I do.
Can you kick it up?
Oh, I'm sorry, the visitor guide is we're on the final proof, it'll go to the printer this week.
Can you kick over the PDF to us?
Although,
Now it's to print, so
I was gonna say,
you don't have to worry about feedback because
Got
it's gone.
feedback, yeah.
No, I'm just curious.
okay, sure.
I wouldn't want it right before print because then nobody wants to give you notes.
Okay, and then just the LEC community forum, we've done 2 this week, we've got 1 more coming up shortly. That's
Great.
it. Thanks.
Yeah, just, and this one today is just an open house, so I'll have the PowerPoint, but I'm not doing the presentation.
Right.
Just so people-
Got good feedback from those, a lot of good phone calls. So people are excited to see what way we go. Now, obviously, everybody has their own opinions too, but,
No, that was the point. right?
Yeah.
I agree, I think I was at both of them, they're really good.
But I apologize for not knowing this, and I probably should. Once we complete the third in the series today, what's the next steps? Are we gonna narrow down?
So
Well, we can do more of them if you think it's necessary. Then, I mean, it's really up to you.
So the question is like, I think we still should do a mailer. And what I think these sessions were great for is finding holes in what we were going to put in the mailer. We're getting common questions that if we just sent out a mailer and half the people are like, well, what about this, this, and this, then that mailer's not a great pull.
Right.
So these sessions have given, I was at Thursdays. Not Tuesdays, but it's on Zoom too, if you want to look at it, but.
And the information's on the.
So I still think the best way forward is to use these sessions to kind of distill what the options are and actually mail out to everybody. And frankly, I think doing that before May 15 is going to miss a lot of people or just get in their
So I guess how's that feedback loop work? So we do mail out the 3
I
options.
think we make it a survey with some checklists and you write your name and address and you either drop it here or you mail it back. Yeah.
And then we take the feedback and.
Yeah.
Try to keep on our 6-month timeline, that's really
Okay,
key.
Right, and but I think mailing those out sometime in May, once people have started to move back. Will give us a good spread. I don't know how many people will return them, but it's. Our other options are like Facebook and email, which I think miss a large group of people, so I think it's the most fair way to poll.
okay.
Beyond doing like a resolution vote or what do you call it, a referendum, which is a whole thing.
As long as we have a way forward to kind of, at least to meet that 5-month window, I want to make sure that
Yeah.
we have something to vote on at the 5-month mark, so we can say this is what we're going to do with the LDC problem.
Do we have our future LDC village board meeting? That's set, so that we have like something to reach for? Do we have a meeting date set?
No, not too far out of set, we should just keep it in our, keep it on. Our radar, I mean, it's, the good news is, it is where it's happening.
Yeah, I think if we send out the mailer by
This big.
mid-May, maybe we can approve the
Yeah.
mailer design and wording at the.
Set, that would
Sure.
kind of hold us accountable to make sure that we get,
It's a forcing function.
right.
We do have a final date though, right? We have that 5-month
Yeah.
date. So we'd have to do it before then,
So let's say this, if we.
but let's.
Our
let's
meeting
do
is
a
the
date
9th?
For the mailer,
Yeah, date for the mailer would be good.
Yeah, so let's say that we approve. To send out the mailer, we'll give a final approval to the mailer copy in the May meeting, send it out the week after. Everybody at the May meeting we'll do paper folding and staple while we.
Yep.
Sure.
And you typically would be, you actually give a short time frame, not really short, but not too long, because they get filed otherwise.
Sure.
That's a month off, done.
Yeah.
Weeks, done,
I'm gonna say 2.
Yeah, and then we can come back in the June meeting.
Could we do a,
We can invite the LDC to our June meeting. and-
could we pay for return postage?
That would be, that would ensure you.
Right.
Do we have a return postage machine? We probably don't.
And we should keep several here so people can come in and actually fill it out, right?
Yep.
Because then you're relying on people to drop it off.
Or mail it back, or
But,
we could also put a stamp on it.
right, but if we could pay for that return postage. I think that would help. with the
Yeah.
Feedback.
Are we paying that for LDC? Or
Yeah,
getting it?
well, right.
Are we paying? that?
Well, we've always shared it, we've always shared it.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll mail, you return.
Yeah,
That's right.
there we go. I mean, they have just as much vested interest. as we do,
That's
so.
good, that's a good.
There's-
50%.
it's not a ton. I mean, there's 900-ish. I think that's what our water bill is, like 903 service addresses. We can send it out bulk mail, so it just goes to resident, but if we're gonna pay for return stamps, we can't do that bulk. So it'd be about half the price of a stamp to send it out, half a full price of a stamp to send it back. Probably about 25 cents to print it. So we're looking at about $1 a resident. So it's not a terrible expense, $500 for us, 500 for the LDC. If we do return mail.
I think if we want feedback, we're gonna have to
Yeah.
invest in something to get the.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah.
If the deadline's later than May 6th, we could accept them in the user center and see if people wanted to drop.
Yeah, we're not gonna send them out until mid-May, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can have a few drop spots, but
Oh, yeah, I mean, the more options people have, the better, but
I mean, frankly, there's a fair number of people in the village who are like getting to the office is not trivial,
I
so.
wonder if this needs to change at the post office.
The
the
bank,
research
the
center,
bank.
The bank would be another.
Yeah.
good spot.
so we print more than the number of residents.
No, because you've got to get yours and return it. Because the thing is, like, we want people to like put their name on it, because you can't. We don't want somebody who's
You
like
don't want
really
somebody
keen
stuck
on
in the
something,
ballot
grabbing
box,
everybody's and writing down.
Right.
So but they just be a place they could drop.
Drop us, okay. I get you.
Anyway, I think for now, the plan of have the copy ready for May is
Perfect.
easy.
Yeah.
Because that gives us, we got 5.5 weeks till the May meeting. So we'll, Dave, if you wanna, we can start drafting the verbiage, and we'll pass it around and do some edits until we're happy with the 3 or whatever the number of tick boxes are, and then we'll send it out.
Good.
All right. Anything else from you guys? Any other questions for Dave or Kathy?
Communication, well, we keep interrupting you.
It's okay.
Is my normal attention span's even worse at 8 in the morning. All right, moving on to the planning board. I don't see Janet on the Zoom, but
I have
we have her.
a couple of comments.
Okay.
I was gonna bring it up in my report, but I'll do it here because we have. In that report, we talk about Madison Barracks PDD. So I've obtained the latest master PDD. And I've got some more information. And we need to begin to finalize the PDD for board vote.
You got time to read it through yet, or?
No, just got it literally 2 days ago. So when Janet's back from vacation, we'll sit down and take a look at it. This is like 20 years old. This is not the infrastructure agreement. Sometimes people get that confused. It's the planned development district that the barracks is, and it's been a sort of, in progress kind of project for, well, 20 years more, 40.
41.
I think the original was back in the 80s.
Right. So what we need to do, because we have several new owners of chunks of the barracks, we need to finalize that so they're operating underneath an approved PDD.
So the barracks PDD is for the entire property over there, Mill Creek.
Because it's
Washington.
historic.
Okay.
So no matter.
So when you said 3 new owners, you weren't talking about the new lots. You were talking about the apartments as well.
Apartments, everything on the barracks, is my understanding is everything in Madison Barracks is part of this PDD.
Okay.
So no matter who ends up owning it, Rollers, the Pontillo from years ago, and now we've got folks from Texas owning parts of this.
Okay.
They all have to ascribe to what our PDD says, but if it's in flux, that means, that they don't have guidance, and then pretty soon we're in a planning board / village board issue within one of them. We need to finalize it.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question? I think I heard that they sold all the lots.
I heard that too, and they still need to, they haven't come to the planning board yet. In other words,
Right, I knew that, but do they, because it's part of the historical, any new build has to follow the historicals?
Is that in the historical overlay?
yes, it is,
Okay,
it is, yeah.
All right, so
Absolutely.
like colors and all of that.
Yeah,
they're gonna
it's
go
just,
through all the planning
it's just like if it was in the main,
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
so there's a
Okay, I
main
didn't
one in
realize,
the.
and
yeah.
someone had mentioned that, to me, and I just
Matter
wanted
of fact,
clarification.
The planning board had their first,
And then
and
it was
it was
withdrawn
rejected,
because their engineers, they're having some difficulties.
They sold all of those lots?
well, that's the sort of.
I know there's been several sold, but
Yeah, I heard they
So
actually.
it's also
are
my
almost,
understanding that.
if not done, yeah, I mean, this is good.
yeah,
So.
If you buy a lot, you don't have to use Waller to build the.
No, you
you can
don't.
use somebody else, but I'm wondering, do those people buying a lot understand that they have to adhere to a certain code based on historical?
I think they do, because I think that's what Lawler is, has in terms of, a presentation package, and they have, they're
Okay.
clearly part of that, but. Again, still, I want to make sure that they follow the PUD as well.
Guys, do we get, when someone buys a lot like that?
Yeah.
Like my brother did the subdivision and you had his info. Is that because he put in something or like when these guys buy those lots, and before they do water, I know at water sign up, we get their info. But do we have, is there a step ahead that gives us a chance to like talk to them about things like the PDD rules? So that they're not,
Are we transferring, old agreements from one owner to the next,
well, that's probably Lawler's responsibility, but that's what we don't want to happen is if there was a way to get in touch with people who buy these ahead of time, so they're not spending a bunch of money on engineering and design that's going to get tossed out when they realize the planning board has stipulations.
I don't think a clear explanation of like what the expected builds were supposed to be. The one I'm speaking of was unhappy with their engineer plan. They were told that they couldn't do it because it was in the historic, but that's not what they thought, what they thought.
Sure.
So there is a misunderstanding.
But it's,
That would
it's,
be
it's really,
back on, sorry.
I mean, I'm sure that's back on the barracks.
it's really no different than if they buy a lot in the,
Where else?
in
Right.
the Main Street historic, you know, it's up to the.
What is the disclosure? Like when you,
Well, it's, the PDD is zoning law.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
so when you're, so that if they don't pull the zoning law, like, it's not like in the documents to purchase necessarily unless Lawler
No,
provides.
but it's not, I mean, the building you bought on Main Street, it wasn't in those documents.
No, I understand. That's why I'm saying when would, I mean, I knew it was in the historical district because it's right there, but frankly, I didn't realize that
Well,
those
that's why
lots were.
I didn't realize it either, and
Yeah.
so because they were being told. It's in the historic district, you can't do X, Y, Z, and I was like, wait, what?
I mean-
So I didn't realize it either, and that I should have known
Well,
that.
In this
normally-
case-
Normally, and I know it's, realtors don't work for the village, but realtors,
Yeah,
they're supposed to tell you what their zoning is.
Yeah.
And frankly, shame on any property, you buy a lot,
Yeah,
you spend.
I
whatever.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't, I mean.
So we don't get, like, when someone purchases, we don't get a recorded deed like the county does?
No, 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 no.
Okay,
But we- by the time we get any information, they have already closed on that property.
Right.
There's no.
No, no,
in
no.
between.
I was just thinking-
It's the same thing for people on Ontario.
Mhm.
They sell their home, they do not disclose that there is a debt service, so these people get a second and
yeah,
water
Yeah.
bill. And they go, well, I just paid, so what is this? And we have to explain, sorry, they didn't disclose, this is yours now.
yeah.
That really is a real, kind of an issue.
I mean, frankly, I think you'd have a case to go back and say, you said there was no undisclosed debt on the property, but most people aren't gonna go through the courts to get that money back from them. In this case, and just to save the planning board some frustrated conversations, it might just make sense to talk to Mike Campbell and say, hey, once you've closed on these, just give us Give us contact info.
Not Mike Campbell.
oh, is he gone? Okay, all right, well. Yeah,
He's got a replacement, he's a realtor.
The replacement for Mike's a realtor, right?
Was a realtor,
He
right?
was realtor, so I mean, it can.
yeah, they know, but they don't, if they want to omit it to make the sale, that's their prerogative,
Well,
but.
now that I'm in charge of it, that all makes sense now.
We very careful about, government intrusion to,
I didn't
yeah, it's
realize that
a
they-
private business deal, right?
I know.
So.
Well, I just meant, once we know they're the owner, it'd be nice if we had a way to say, hey, FYI, don't start paying an engineer, because it just saved them.
My recommendation would be
Now it
to
makes sense.
contact the new rep at the Barracks. I'm happy to do that. And say, hey, just hi, village board, you're Mike's replacement. We worked with with Lawler for the last 20 years or 15 years, and we just want, we're a resource. And by the way, do you disclose that this is an historical district, and if not, you ought to be doing that. Have a nice day, that's all, just the contact. Beyond that, I think we're intrigued.
I was gonna
They
say-
can, it's a bit, you run your business, you want, I'm not saying they're being dishonest or anything, I'm saying we can't get into that, right? So.
Yeah, I just thought, if, once someone owns it as a property owner, we could actually look at the problem is the county map gets filed a year later. So you're probably gonna hear about it first through the planning board, it's the
Right,
first time you get it.
That's
That is the first time that they're really notified.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm trying to build a house. Well, okay, you need this form, this form, this form. Oh, and by the way, you need the long form because it's in the historic district. Well, what does that mean? Well, this has to go to the planning board, Jim, before we can't just say, yes, you can build this house.
Right, so our monthly planning board reports will have agendas, and we'll see all of
We
those.
had one last month. and
We
that
have
was
those
good.
up front, right,
Right.
exactly.
That's what happened.
I wonder if we could get the county to like send us a report of sales in the area.
I just.
Yeah, all right.
well, if they've all been sold, then we're kind of, then that boat sailed.
No, my thought was not to say, don't buy this, it's in the historic district, but to say, hey, once you bought it, don't start spending money on a postmodern glass design and then come to the planning board. angry.
So, they're ready.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna,
We're gonna see more of what we happened last month. People probably gonna withdraw their.
yeah, okay. Anything else for planning board besides PDD?
Alex, can I go? I have a cookie with at 10 o'clock and I.
Oh,
never-
yeah.
Yeah.
What, you wanna jump ahead
She would need public comment.
to
So-
public comment or for,
Issue was not present at the budget request meeting because she was in limbo status.
Okay.
waiting on Can-Am.
Sure.
So,
No.
like her
Thanks,
budget
Brenda.
Yeah,
request.
sorry, I have to be.
You're fine.
So, just to give you, to the best of my ability, the breakdown for the budget, our bands with the stage last year was about $10,000. So we're looking at about 16,000 for the bands and stage. Fireworks are not set in stone yet, but we're looking at maybe 8,000. That can go down. Parade, I know they're looking about 7. The porta potties, we already have a quote, and that's for 2255. Entertainment, I know we're looking at bouncy houses for both Saturday and Sunday, and that's around 1,000. We have the merry-go-round theater coming back for 500. I don't have numbers for baseball or advertising. So far, we brought in $1,700 for sponsorship. We have 3 food vendors that have already paid, which was $775, and 9 crafters, which was $585. So that's kind of, so about with the numbers I have, it's about 34,000, but again, that doesn't include baseball or advertising.
I saw the
Anything
$1,000
else,
come across. Who is that?
That was from payroll by McWiz. And
Okay.
we had $200 from,
That's a new one, huh?
I think so.
Nice.
um,
Good job.
AMS.
AMS, and there was a 500 from,
Water Tower Savings Bank.
yes.
Cool.
So,
So in the budget, just to help out here, we've allocated 40,000. I think our expenses are beneath that, well beneath that, and we have to do appropriations separate from revenue,
Right.
so. I think in our revenue, what is our revenue projection for that? Real quick, 15, maybe, on top of my head, 10. We only, so we're gonna be under.
We'll be fine, so we
Yeah,
don't
we're in
need to
terms
increase
of,
that
in
by
terms of
100%.
revenue, we're gonna be fine in terms of.
So we're
I did
expecting,
put it for the bed tax. I asked for 8,000 from the town, because I heard they were flush, so I don't know. So I'm hoping, even if we get 5.
for the, so in order to square this with last year, right? So in past years, the village just committed money and then we put it into the Can-Am account. Now we have to account for the entire budget, including everything you raised. So the delta between our revenue and our budget is the number we should compare to before. So if we're looking at 40K as the total budget, you're saying 10K is the difference or is the?
No,
revenue?
10K is projected revenue,
Okay.
so you have to, go ahead, Shane, go ahead. So we,
So we're
on
on-
one line, we're gonna net, the projection is to net 30, or
To spend.
to net spend 30,000.
Okay.
But that's gonna even go down.
As revenue.
Because porta potties are already in another line, so DPW is in another line, so actually their expenses are even lower than what Brenda's already talked about, which is good. We don't have to worry about that, but what I'm saying is we don't have to allocate any more than we already have allocated and Can-Am should be fine.
So when I thought we had only talked about moving the net expenditure from 7,500 to like 12. If it's up to 20 plus, then that's great. Right. I thought when because last year we had committed, the village committed 15, I believe.
No, the village. 54,000.
We didn't,
Budget line.
but that's not what we put in to fund net was 54. Because wasn't it, in the past, it's been 7,500.
But because it was the 50th,
We doubled it,
yeah,
but that would be 15,000.
right, but it became 54.
How?
Y'all approved it, I don't know.
Okay.
It was,
Okay.
we've cleaned it up.
So that's right.
Can has been cleaned up in terms of our internal accounting with, and that's good. So going forward right now, this new 51st Can-Am is pretty clean. They're raising their dollars, but the dollars obviously are coming to the village. They're going to be recorded in revenue. And our expenditures, the ceiling is 40,000 and the projections are way less than 40,000. So I think we should be good.
And I'm trying to hold off on reflecting a lot of her, revenue, like I only have. 765. I have not taken in any of the online. I haven't shown that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm waiting
Okay.
until June.
Got it. And that's all in its
So
own
that
bank
it's
account.
showing up in here, so we have realistic
Okay.
numbers. So you have 765 that is going towards that 10
Thank
right
you.
now.
Can you put, when that comes in like a check or cash, can you put it in that Can-Am account?
It
as
is.
well? Oh, it is, okay,
It's all in there
It's all in
and all the stripe is already in there. It's just, I'm not recognizing that
until next budget year.
until,
Okay.
yes, because it shouldn't. be.
All right, so just to
Thank you.
be super clear, we're looking at putting in somewhere around net 20K, depending on how much she raises and what gets spent as the.
No, it has to be, but that's the thing. It's not a net because it's not like a business.
Oh, yeah.
To have-
I'm just trying to compare it to the past numbers. I get that we have to say, yeah,
We have 40 right now. We think that's a realistic.
Perfect, okay.
Expenditure amount to take out the porta potties and a couple things that we talked about because it's already.
Great.
Right now, porta potty account, I sent it to Mark. I think we've got like 4,500, which would more than cover what she's.
Yeah.
And that line is the same for this year, so it should be. good.
perfect, okay.
Good.
Sounds good.
So, and the other thing on that, the other thing, just real quick. is
Okay.
There was that. Was it this event? No, it's not this event, sorry, it was another event about open container.
Yeah, that's Tracy's here for that. You're gonna. Any other questions for Brenda? Is there, Brenda,
Selling cookies at 7 o'clock if you want. Sunny.
we'll be there.
Now, cookies. Oh. I might.
You get one question.
So you go back to town, you take every.
I mean, that's
Smart.
accepted, I think.
Did a drive by and took them all with them.
Thank you for logging on, taking.
Yeah. You get one question for a box of cookies. Yes, yeah. All right, let's do you want to do the chamber right now so that Tracy can get out of here?
Oh, I see, I get my coffee now.
All right, fine, well, if you want us to do the engineers, you're good.
I'm good, go right ahead.
So Tracy and I talked, I think I mentioned to you, they weren't looking to do the open container at night. It was just during the day. But I'll let you guys speak to if you guys had more questions for them for the Halloweenville.
I think it's good, because just my idea was basically to be able to bring all this restaurants. I haven't spoke to the restaurants yet because I like to get my ducks in a row before I go to the next steps. So my idea for this and why I wanted the open container was I would love the restaurants to be able to come out to the street. So a signature drink, possibly some food in front of the store. So we keep this going downtown, and I want to try to make this into like something kind of big. I don't know if it will this year, but I'm excited about this event. Our trunk went really well the one year that we had it, and I kind of wanted to grow it a little bit more this year since we didn't have, Whoville anymore. And hoping this would get us through even marketing dollars for the chamber to market that we are open through the winter months, which has been very, very, very slim for the downtown stores this year.
So I don't know if I missed it or we all missed it last time, but there's a map on the back that had the time, I think you had written somewhere, you said?
It's on the front.
It's on the
12
front.
before.
Yeah, so I think we just missed that because we saw the
It was
haunted
a
walk. We
spirit
assumed
walk
it
in
was.
there, and that would have been a separate event that would have actually run during that day, because talking with Stephanie, it would have to be more eerie, so at nighttime. And we've decided to table that. We're not going to do that this year. It's too much. I sat down with Stephanie, Cheryl, Heike and myself, and we spoke about it. And if it needs to get started, it needs to be really put together starting in like July and moving forward with that. And the volunteer issues too. I think it's like 31 volunteers to make a spirit walk happen.
Yep.
And we have a hard enough time with events finding 10 volunteers. So
Coordinating with the school.
we have thought about that. That's why we're gonna start in July this year and getting. Yeah.
Staff there,
Yeah.
they might want to get in.
Yeah, and we definitely, and for volunteers, they also have a different, is it a Sunshine Club? Yeah, is that, I'm right, so we were thinking of utilizing them for maybe games and stuff like that, because I had heard that they were looking for something for the kids that volunteered, so working all that, but Spirit Walk, we want it to be like we want it to be compared to the old ones, because they were like fantastic. We even thought about making it smaller, but better to make it a good one and wait.
So it's not a spirits walk, it's a
Sorry.
spirit walk.
Well, sorry.
It can be both.
My milk was bad this morning and I'm not working coffee.
I don't know if this qualifies, are you familiar with the village grant, program that we have for small events?
That would be, I don't know. Dave?
Yeah, I mean, that's the chamber of,
Oh.
I mean, this is a chamber event.
No, so we have a set, it's like for any, so you can definitely, basically, we have like a $500 grant for any event, whether it's chamber or not.
So we can- Yeah.
Okay, all right, so it's a small grant from the village that we.
So we set aside about, I think is it the same this year, 5,000 in chunks of 250 or 500 for events. So if you're running an event, you just put it in and
All right, I'm on it. But that's everything.
Cool.
I don't know, anybody have any questions?
what are big trucks?
Big trucks and little tots, that's such idea Cheryl came up with, I guess it runs in Rochester and whatnot, so we're trying to rename it with a better Halloween name, but basically. We want to get big trucks to little trucks, anything with wheels, boats. So the kids can come down and see an attraction that they might not normally see, the big bulldozers. Be able to look in them possibly, still on a working basis as to what everybody is comfortable doing. Even I got thinking the stock, I don't know if we call them stock cars over here.
Race car?
Well, not a race car, but is it a stock car? Like the ones that are framed out and the big wheels that they go on the dirt track?
F1?
I don't know.
No,
stock
yeah.
cars.
Cool. So just cool
Well,
vehicles for
exactly.
kids. Okay. Neat.
Yeah, people down there bringing in the Coast Guard boats and possibly, and we don't know if they could, at some point in the day, maybe toot their horns or make noises or something, because that would take the awe factor to when you're standing as a young person or, even an adult to hear, what it does and whatnot. So, yeah, so that's what that is.
Cool.
So, and then we also add to it, I'm hoping on the visitor center to maybe get with the library, still not in set in stone, because I still haven't asked and found out of maybe showing movies down there. Maybe the library might be interested in doing that, but they would be movies that are older, that we don't have to get licensed to, that run throughout the day with the projector and whatnot on the screen. So trying to make this that little bit more.
Nice.
So, quick question, you do intend to raise some money for.
I am not going down to the restaurants or the establishments downtown this time, because we ask them for everything all the time, and I'm getting feedback that it's not good, and I don't want that. So yes, I have found one sponsor already that has never sponsored an event. I spoke with Stephanie and she said to go to the bank. I just didn't want to overutilize the people that we need for other events, so I'm trying to find other people.
Right,
So-
and I only asked that question because I was looking, I'm thinking, so our porta potties are gone for the year by October, right? So we
We
have,
need porta potty, yeah, they're there.
so you,
And-
right, you had a spoke part of your budget.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, that's all I was getting, is to understand that.
Yeah, no, I understand the money that's involved.
Perfect. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
So I can take my coffee and go now. Thank you.
Hey, loosely related, but something that we need to talk about real quick is, well, I was thinking about when you were discussing big trucks, Fort Drum has a reach out program. We are partnered with a battalion, I think it's the engineering battalion
Yeah.
of Fort Drum. They
Right.
would probably be more than willing to.
That
bring a
was,
uniform
that
or
was on
equipment.
my list
Okay.
too,
Uh,
thought, but who? would I
Tracy,
go
it's
to?
Donnie.
Donnie?
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
Donnie
doing it for
that
Can-Am
too?
as well this year. He's doing the
No,
same.
no, this is different than that. Now he's like an independent.
Well, he got the parade to come, I thought.
Battalion always have.
We have a
one.
battalion.
Okay, my mistake.
I don't know who it is or who to find out.
It's
find out.
like a doctor.
Yeah,
Do you know that, is it,
we'll call protocol at Fort Drum. And
Yeah,
they'll tell us who we're partnered with.
Okay.
You reach out to that battalion commander.
Because that would be fantastic to
Yeah.
have some of those trucks and that, it's just, I guess it's a really great success in Rochester and whatnot, but we're trying to. Come up with a different name too, I think we went with like spooky wheels and little goblins or. Something fun, I really want to make this a community event, and it will be a paid event too, I should have said that earlier, where all the crossings.
We already voted though.
Yeah, crossings and whatnot, so, that sort of,
so you were saying basically like to get a bracelet to participate, but you're not locking the space
No,
down,
no.
right? So it's not like you can't get onto Main Street without
Exactly.
paying, but if you wanna,
But
your kid to
again,
get candy at all the stations, you got.
everybody can come through, but even with an open container, we need to put the barricades up and stuff, but you can still come in if you want to go to the stores and whatnot, but to, like you had said, the candy, everything else like that, it needs to, but then, I don't know. I'm just trying to make this happen and do a good job.
Well, we want to support you.
I think it's Matt Grimaldi. He lives in the village and he told me he was part of the battalion, because he mentioned that they could bring the whole battalion out for the military cemetery for an engineering thing. So I think that might be the guy. I don't know if you know how to. Yeah, I don't know what the channel would be.
I
So
think I have the previous one, so I'll get that to her.
Okay.
And I'll.
Except for this, but for every.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think we'll do it.
They have helped us before with
Right.
Bill.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 100 volunteers.
It was one really active program.
3 years ago, they dropped off 20 soldiers in the lake, Mission Noaks, landed on the battlefield. Those soldiers swam to shore, came on, and then everyone got to walk through Chinook. School came up, it was tremendous. We got leverage for it a little bit more with that partnership.
We're using a lot of trails. I mean, that's, it's a great resource,
Yeah.
right? So.
That engineer battalion commander told me he would build us a Sackett Harbor Beach.
I got 4 locations in mind.
Okay, let's get it on.
All right. So, okay, we good, Tracy?
I hope so.
All right.
Good.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
anything else from the chamber while you're here, while we're on the topic?
Nope, that was the
Cool.
big thing there and.
Great. I guess we'll jump over to the engineers. Brandon?
Have a wonderful day. everyone.
See you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Rundown on the Martinsburg Park project. Latest rec for March was little over 126,000, which we received and sent to the village for processing. So I don't know if you've noticed, but the cat channel installation at Martinsburg Park in Chapin is installed, so more or less the sheet pile walls are finished. They look really nice. So kind of a little change up on the schedule. That's why we don't have an updated one. Lawman was looking to potentially start with the West Main Street work this month to try and it kind of worked out with, I know last month we were talking about Can-Am and Kathy sent me a list of kind of scheduled events. They wanted to try to get that in and done before, 4th of July and Can-Am kind of start where all that traffic would be heading through there. We tried to avoid that. So we don't have a specific date. They're trying to coordinate with Lynn so they don't start tearing stuff up and it snows and then he takes a plow through there and that type of thing. So
During that phase, that stretch between the visitor center parking lot and Hill Street will be closed, correct?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, because they'll have to do the crosswalks and they'll do some sidewalks.
The crosswalks are inset so that you can still turn during that construction, you'll still be able to go
Yes.
down Main and turn left into the visitor center.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's a pretty short detour.
Yes, so trying to get that in before busy season.
Yeah.
So the residents that would be affected in there, will they get alerted somehow?
There aren't any residents on that block.
So the visitor center next door neighbor, I mean.
His
technically-
driveway is up, yeah,
Okay, but their yard does extend, because I just looked after you. sent
Yeah.
the email.
it does.
It's not in.
Okay, it's not gonna be affected by the construction,
No.
okay.
It just will be, they have to go around to get to their house, but their driveway's not on that.
Okay, yeah, I just didn't want
Yeah,
to be bad neighbors and not enforce them.
it's, I think that's rich.
Yeah, so that was nice to hear, to try to
Yeah, as a,
pull that up. Kind of the same from last meeting, the anchors for the floating docks are still set to be installed April 10th. Floating docks, as far as I'm concerned, are still tentatively expected to mid-July. And that'll last about a month, and then there's probably about a month and a half of, utilities digging up, so. We had a meeting on Thursday, and Lawman doesn't expect the boat launches to be open this season, just with all the work that they have to do. I mean, certainly if something changes,
Sure.
they'll let us know,
I
but
didn't think we thought that was a mandate.
No.
yeah, just. Realistically, I don't think.
I think we figured if it did, it was gonna be late. It was gonna be
Right.
well past the.
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they could do one or the other, but it just doesn't.
Yeah. So where's the next Dexter or Henderson? Henderson. Does Westgate have a?
Yeah.
For Muscle.
Muscle for later, that big operations.
You can put a canoe or.
We don't all have yachts.
So we were thinking some sort of announcement about.
I'm
that.
wondering with all of the fishermen, I don't. No.
You've been down to, how is this one? Is there?
There's no ramp. Yeah.
Mark, This is the one here. It's pretty steep, but I don't know that it's,
Oh, I was down there the other day.
There's no.
it's this one here. It's a really steep
Yeah.
entry. And it's not, it's still gravel. So you put a heavy enough boat in there and you're gonna
Right.
rut it up.
Right.
So I don't know that, even if it was public land, which it isn't, we'd probably have to pour a ramp to be able to use it.
Yeah. I think if we.
I don't
That's
know.
put on the website. I guess that'd be the best way to get information out.
One time Craig doesn't try any question for a Navy.
There's a boat ramp down there.
Long range, put out there, ship has really sailed on this, but it's not the most convenient place to put boats even in good. I mean, I wish we had something not in the center of town.
Yeah, I know.
I would love.
Because you have to pull up Bayard Street to back your boat
Not
down.
good. It's terrible for traffic, it's just not.
It's good for like jet ski.
But anyway, ship has sailed on that, so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't, it's a moot point this time. We're gonna lose the season for boating.
but if we could somehow. Put that out there.
Look long range.
We'll put it on the website.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because there's no, you can't really put them in quick. You
These change orders are insignificant. They're not that bad. I was thinking they were significant.
Yeah.
so these change orders, these were the same from last.
Yeah.
This is-
Last,
Yeah, it's
meeting.
not bad at all.
3 and 4 were processed at that meeting. We did have some revised drawings that we had to provide. There was some interferences with the floating dock, the abutment structure. And also the floating dock connections changed, which had required us to revise the abutment structures, and we had to change some stair details. There was a missing frost wall in our details that we had to add. We received a change order for almost 42,000 from Lawman. We're reviewing that right now just to review it and understand what they're submitting. So, so at some point a change order will follow, but we're in the middle of reviewing that.
One thing while we're on the topic, I don't know what budget this would come out of, but we should probably get signage up at the top of Main Street. Because people are gonna come down with their boats. And just, even if the boat launch is closed, it's gonna jam things up because they're gonna be turning around and coming out.
Main Street.
And the last thing I want is angry people with a huge boat bombing it back up Main Street, pissed off.
For Main, because you're gonna have people with boats getting to Main Street going, oh, well, where do I go?
We can put it on the sign at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Apple starts out.
We could get 4, so we have the 3 incoming and then Broad and Main as well, where they put like the bunny sign.
Right.
Yeah,
We will put it on the.
Well, we wouldn't need that, anything for those, you just put them on those signs.
Right.
yeah. Oh, I mean, it doesn't have to be super expensive. You just gotta print something legible from the road.
So you got How many entrances to? the-
Four. Dodge, Military,
Yeah.
Maine, and Adams. And then I think one at Broad and Maine, just so that people, because people will miss those.
Right.
And then when they get down here, they can at least say, you know, I don't know if we have enough space to put like D2, go to where to go, but
Most out front.
I put a note down to ask Craig too, to see, they got that boat lift and they could charge a small fee to put boats in. I don't know how difficult the boat, they have a boat lift. But I don't know if it's like, they use it once a year and it's a huge pain, or if it's like,
They might not be able to handle that traffic though either, because it's a pretty.
That's what I was getting
Yeah.
at. I don't.
Yeah.
think cars getting down there, I'm not sure.
yeah.
And that's. the thing with the boat.
Go to Navy.
Well, I mean, they could charge, like, if they charge some amount to say, hey, if. It is.
Yeah. I see what you mean. People who have boats there probably don't work much. Transient, but.
I couldn't tell you. how.
Actually, have some ramp.
No.
No, they don't, they have a boat lift, and they don't use those big yachts.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna be easy.
Have to suck it up.
Yeah, it's probably quicker to drive to Wackos than drive to.
Yeah.
Shimano.
You're driving plus, driving for your. 100%.
Okay.
About 30 minutes.
All right, cool. Well,
That's it.
so as far as signage, would that be like a DPW budget line? Where would that come out of? And
Yeah.
when does the boat, like, when do people start putting boats in?
Because it's.
Yeah.
So we already have signs that say boat launch is closed.
We do?
Yeah,
Oh, great.
so the outside, that's nothing.
Okay.
Because they're gonna take their little letters.
Yeah, just strap it to the bottom of the legs.
No, it's terrible. They're gonna put the big letters in there. Go
They're gonna
launch
spell
boat.
it on the entrance.
Oh, this thing. I understand. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
But that's gonna be the only announcement I'll see.
No, we have all three.
Yeah,
We have three different signs on the entrances.
right.
All three of them will say boat launch closed. This can say boat launch
Okay.
closed, and then we have orange. They're down there now, aren't they?
I'm not-
There's some sort of orange. sign that says- Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the only announcement we have all year is, you know, go to Shimon instead of us. It's not a great, but anyway.
Honestly, something for the news.
Yeah.
Because people need to know
Yeah.
now.
Right.
You can't come here to fish. You can't.
Yeah.
You need to go somewhere else.
Yeah. And we'll need something for Military Road because there is no
Right,
sign
Yeah.
there.
yeah. All
I
right,
think the other two locations have.
anything else from,
Whereabouts on the record would you-
put it on the one-way bridge or like just before it,
Maybe you think out by 180
Yeah.
or
because,
that triangle where they put the,
That might be worth a banner. to just
yeah,
Banner it, like people do for Can-Am and stuff like that, to just banner it, hey, just so you know, go back to Dexter.
right, right. Or
or
keep
keep
going.
going. And it's good.
No, we're thinking out.
But come back next year.
Come on.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, park closed. We'll give
That's
you.
what I'm saying.
I'll give you a chip.
So,
All right,
So, just to carry on, asbestos pipe was removed. The bid for the remaining ready projects was pushed out a week, just we got some RFI questions that required some revised drawings, so this coming Wednesday at 2 o'clock will be the bid opening. Brown Shores, additional scope was submitted and approved by Ready, the project will be designed and bid this summer.
did you want to, without letting here might not make sense, but talk about did we decide on the fiberglass or the stick builds for Brown Shores yet, or is that still?
I'm not familiar with, I'm
Okay.
not at
We'll
all, but
put it off.
I think they
Yeah.
were still talking about it.
Okay,
I think Lynn said either or.
yeah, that's all right. We can talk about it next week,
Yeah.
because I don't think
I don't
it'll,
know what the final.
Okay.
Thought on was that was, no other updates for the water sewer upgrades and the INI study, looking at about meeting in the spring. And a budget plan and finance, will be submitted. By May 31st.
well done. Any other questions for Brandon? Alrighty, I don't think. You're welcome to stick around if you want, but I don't know that we have anything else for you to, does anybody in their report have things that pertain to BCA? All right,
Okay, All right, thank you.
Sure.
Grab a donut on your way out.
Hey, that's messed up. You should go out and get, guilted by the Girl Scout cookie. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm going out the back.
I've got a quick thing in here. I think it was under the planning board. It's just a letter from Jim talking about the fence, not. He basically just.
Yeah.
Put in writing what he had already had as a conversation. This is kind of as leany as we can get on the person, so it's in there if you want to look at it, but. All right,
So, yes, and Harold did call me. He was asking what was the status of this. I kind of gave him, what we said. Jim's gonna go back, talk to the homeowners. So have they received this yet?
Well,
it says March 21st, he sent it, so they should have.
Okay.
And Jim did say this is a conversation he already had with the guy, and the guy did say he was gonna move it, but then he just didn't do anything.
And I think that's what I was.
But
telling
it's
Harold.
not spring yet.
I said, I told Harold, he needs time to move these things. He can't just,
It's with, yeah.
Yeah, so-
But, it's been,
Send that one a regular mail, make sure they get it in house to certified receipt. I haven't get that certified receipt yet, but we send them both way.
Okay, great. Thank you.
thank you.
All right, work report.
Yeah, he gave him 14 days.
We have nothing.
Harold told me that. But you don't know. I'm gonna send pictures.
We like that.
He told me.
Actually, we do. No.
But I want him to.
We need to buy a new fridge this week. Oh.
This week?
Okay, it was, the top where it's telling you the temperature, it said 97 when I walked.
Was it 97?
Yes,
So
it's all.
how did you convert it to?
It's now a sauna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's gotta go. We're just gonna look at, regular.
Yeah.
So I guess we need approval to not get a million quotes for a standard fridge. So we're probably gonna go to Lowe's.
You can do Lowe's and then like Amazon.
Purchase.
Yeah.
Without bringing you the quotes because.
It broke today, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I think as long as you guys just take a screenshot of a couple of sites so that we have the quote, that's.
To bring it.
Yeah, no worries.
We're gonna get a freezer and fridge combo, because that was just a fridge,
Yeah.
so we don't have any.
regular.
The commercial ones are more expensive.
It's done because of the senior money.
That's why I was asking. I didn't know if we needed something.
So we're doing the regular. cost.
All right,
Yes, go ahead.
And, yeah.
get one of the nice ice machine.
Hot milk in there, there's no water. There's no water in there.
Oh, there's no water
I
like.
went to
all right.
get creamer, because I have creamer in there for coffee,
Uh-huh.
French vanilla, and I was like, it's hot. This is hot. And I looked outside, it said 97.
Somebody flipped the.
And it was, I was here last night late and something was clicking and I was thinking like, what is that noise? But I didn't think, hey.
Someone was stuck in there. Okay. All right,
Who knew?
How we do?
okay, so the old business is one of the same, so I've been pinging Steele, he wants to get up in the tower. My guess is he's gonna give me the same.
It was last week.
He said, last I talked to him was Wednesday and he hadn't gotten a hold of Lynn, but I called him Friday and he didn't answer. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't answer me on Friday, so I don't know if he has enough info to finish the quote or not, but I do have the one, I'll forward you guys from Doyle. They split it up into 3 jobs. So one is the conferencing in here. The other, like the video for the meetings. The other is the cameras here. And the third was the cameras at the bandstand and
What was the quote?
Yeah. what was the-
it's. They sent it to my personal email, so I didn't see it for a minute, but. Let's see.
Those are uncle, isn't he?
Huh?
I think those are uncle, isn't he?
Travis is my cousin. They sold to Doyle a year ago, so they don't. He just works there now.
Okay.
I thought someone just took over as CEO for C.
My cousin's, well, I guess he's still my cousin. My uncle, I call him Uncle Bruce because he's older than my father, but he retired. So the Doyle people out in Rochester run the thing. I mean,
What was the quote?
okay, so the office one is 6,500 for 4 cameras, I don't know what they call it, the head unit. I'll shoot you guys this, but it's 6,500 for
Yeah.
like basically the office. The streaming setup is 3,500. That's a camera facing in, facing out, a laptop to stream it to, he said like a cheap Acer laptop just should live there because it's way easier than trying to hook up ours.
Yep.
To stream it directly to YouTube and have a mic that fills the room. And then the visitor center bandstand is a little more expensive because we're beaming between 2 sites. That's 7,800 for parts and labor. So all, and they said that doing
Under 20,000.
they said adding the sewer plant would be somewhere a little lower than the visitor center. They forgot to write that up. He said he'd send it to me this weekend, but he said it's basically a smaller version of the visitor center. So maybe 6,000 for that to do cameras on the sewer plant. And depends if you want to, I wasn't sure if we wanted to have 2, one for general view of the space and then 2 very zoomed for license plate catching at the 2 entrances. I think we've kind of relied on security through obscurity for a long time, but I don't know if you guys read about some guys down in, I think it was North Carolina, they shot up the transformers and they strategically did it to shut down an entire zone's power.
Yeah.
An open sewer plant, that's an easy target if somebody wants to screw around. Now, somebody like that probably is going to cover their license plate, so I don't know that it's even worth us doing that, but as a deterrent, just to have cameras up, I think will help. But right now, we don't have any access control for that whole space.
Yeah, those gates are never closed. Right?
Never closed because there's public space behind it too. There's
Straight the
and then the back,
Yeah,
the back gate is not even a gate, to Ambrose.
Okay.
So there's multiple ways to get in there.
Bottom line, this is under 25,000.
Well, this is the one-time installation fee. Is there a maintenance fee over the next couple of years? Is there a contract?
Yeah, I can ask them what like their.
Carry.
Right, I want to see them.
Yeah, I'll forward it to you. I literally just saw it this morning and I figured no one was going to check through.
Well, I kind of thought it's gonna be about 25, 30, so I think
Yeah.
we're at least there. Now we get Steels and maybe we get Advanced Business Systems and we'll have 3 to compare.
Right.
Yeah, and if you guys want, I don't know a third company, so that's why I kind of relied on Taylor saying no as a. He's done some work here before, but I guess he subcontracts with Steel for jobs like this. So he's like, there's no point in giving you a quote when it's the same guy.
So can we, we'll get it updated from you. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna send this to you guys now.
The other question is, while we're talking to each of these, is when they.
So last I spoke with Travis, he said they're 6 weeks out from contract signing. Just on their schedule. I don't know what Steel's like, but when I talked to him, he said he's pretty backlogged too.
That's,
Yeah.
we need to move on this. That's why, okay, so May meeting. Well.
So I think if we have the other quotes, we could stick it into the budget approval meeting to pick one. If we have the numbers, just to get a couple weeks quicker.
For this year's budget.
But-
next year's budget.
Well, we were.
It's a grant. It's not ARPA, it's the smart city stuff. So it comes through the LED project. And we have about 30K to spend on things like this through that. So it's a reimbursement grant.
Okay.
And they just, to close our streetlight project, they just need receipts. So we, as soon as we have receipts for this, we send it to them, they'll reimburse us. I think it's up to 30.
And all of this is, all of this is acceptable.
Yes, yeah. Most of what they had in there was Wi-Fi, security cameras. They had a bunch of other stuff that I think we don't need a smog detector.
Even internal this stuff, because this is sort of.
Let me double check with the conference room stuff, because that might be different, but I think it should qualify based on the devices they put in with cameras and things like that. Okay. Yeah,
Are these all external cameras or are there any internal as well?
we had 2 internal here for the conferencing, but the ones down at the bandstand were all external.
Okay,
Did you want some inside?
I was just wondering if for the visitor center, if that was, because we don't have any sort of security system, but.
The system that's there, internal cameras are cheaper and smaller because they don't have to be weatherproof. So we could probably add them for
Okay, yeah,
relatively, if you decide you want them, but I didn't put it on the specs because I didn't.
Okay.
So 3 quotes, we can get them via email and the vote can take place. Really at that April.
Peggy, I'm copying you on this just so you have a copy of the quote.
right?
Okay.
We have them.
Yeah.
We have them.
Interactions with the April. budget
I mean,
meeting could be-
My understanding too is if we have, if we, I don't know that we need, it's up to you guys really, but in times when we have only had 2 quotes because one person says they can't do it, so we did with the trucks.
Yeah.
So we have a third party that says we went to and can't quote, so I think if Steel gets us a quote, I think we're good, but if you guys want to try.
Have
and
ABS.
I had a quote back in December from ABS and I'm emailing him right now,
With the
telling
spec?
him that this is bad. Yeah, specs for you.
Okay.
Cool,
And, to get a new quote,
Okay.
updated pricing with additional specs for whatever else is needed.
if he,
Because at the time, I did not have that, so I could not tell him that. He quoted for this at
Sure.
6,100.
You have, okay, good.
For this room?
Ballpark.
Yeah, make sure you.
for outdoor cameras and.
Yeah,
indoor?
that's right.
Yeah, make sure that it's apples to apples.
So you have that, you now have
That's-
that spec quote, right? Yeah, that's, okay, good. That's good.
Steele just texted me, you do not have good line of sight from the tower, so I guess he and Russ agree anyway. So,
So he's looking from the bell tower to the visitor center?
yeah, now it looks good, but when the trees leaf out,
What's the purpose of that? Are we trying?
not having a bill there. Because we have Dank Fiber here, which is a lot better service than Spectrum. If we're gonna put all these cameras down there, it would have been a much more, it would have been, $120 a month less forever. And a stronger connection if it worked, but I needed them to get up there to see if it worked.
Is it like a single tree? Or?
It is, but there's a few.
I mean, we could
Right, I don't know Steel well. I know Russ. If Russ is saying he can't do it.
Plant 100 trees and take one down.
I know.
Are we Free City USA?
Yes.
Here we are, cutting off these, but
Yeah, but we're gonna.
replace it, yeah.
And frankly, what I asked them to do was look at the price
Yeah.
of what are you gonna save a month? 120. What's it gonna cost? Maybe $5,000. And then what's the maintenance cost of realigning that?
Right.
It's probably not worth it.
30-minute warning?
Okay.
Yeah.
15-minute warning.
Right.
All right, so that's IT quotes. The other thing I had was Halloweenville, but Tracy came. That's all for me. Any other questions from you guys?
Bills. We did vote on the bills.
Oh, no, that's all for me. We're still going through the board reports. Yeah, so
I covered this.
Yeah. Okay, Ron.
Hey, real quick, for the rec committee, we did get together, so here's what we're gonna do, and you guys know how I feel about this, very passionate. So we talked about the dog park, we talked about the trail stuff, so what we're gonna do is what we did is. We assigned 2 people on the rec committee to go out and do their research, right? Go out, do some research, tell me how much it's gonna cost to do a dog park, where we could possibly get those funds. What are the requirements? So between me and I forget her name, she knows you, Christina, she's actually a vet tech. It's gonna take time, these are volunteers, she's gonna take about 3 or 4 months to kind of go out there, she's gonna go to Robert Whaley Park, there's 2 dog parks out there. We're gonna do our research, we're gonna see what we need, we're gonna make sure it's on the up and up, insurance wise, all the shots, all the signage, all those things. And then they're gonna bring it back to the Park and Rec Committee, and we're gonna make a proposal. And then once we kind of have that discussion, by the time we get together, I think in the 4th quarter, we'll be ready as a rec committee to present to the board our proposal, how much it's gonna cost, what we want to do, and where we think it should go, all right? But it takes time, again, because these are all volunteers, and I'm gonna help her with this proposal. We're doing the same thing for the trail stuff, right? Where we're gonna actually put equipment on the trail. Dave's gonna worry about the signage and kind of the maintenance of the trail through the DPW. We are gonna put exercise equipment on the trail. We're gonna do the research on that. We're gonna go out and get quotes and pricing, and we're gonna propose a plan in the 4th quarter. So that makes a 2024 or 25 projects list, so we can earmark funds in the budget for next year. All right.
Donnie, the guy that runs the military, he's very much into that. Maybe
Yeah.
we could tap into him for ideas.
Okay.
He loves that stuff, and they actually travel out of town to go to trails that have them, so
Okay.
he might be a person that.
But my point was, no only what we're talking about that stuff, but how we want the process to look like going forward as we develop these projects to get into the pipeline so we can allocate funds for the next year. All right, so that's what we want to do. Okay, that's what the rec committee talked about. And then Max is gonna be taking us down this weekend and he's gonna looking for help. So if you guys happen to be around, you wanna help out. Sure, appreciate it. That's all I have.
If he does it after 5 Sunday, I can give you a hand.
He might do today.
Yeah, I'm going.
Just as a separate but connected piece, the fence, the rehab of the trail behind the apartment, Treeside Apartments. Needs the fence, right, and it's in our infrastructure agreement, so we have to start living up to that infrastructure agreement, which we notoriously as a village haven't. So we gotta get that in the plan with DPW, get the fence, you know, and we have to make sure that the barracks. We all like, you know, the fence, I proposed 2 years ago, a fence, but it had whatever.
Deer tailors.
Yeah, it had deer impalers, they can't have it. So we have to have a fence that's legit, that's high enough yet, is historically okay, there's some wrought iron black fencing with
Yeah.
a soft top. And we have to price it out, there's dollars in our budget for that, so they carry over each year, we never change it, we just have to execute, you know.
Okay.
Cause that's
So,
part of the
so
overall.
on that, like, is that Dave would do the purchase order? Is that you, the DPW?
Well, we were-
I think that's part of the trouble with
Well,
the trail.
Right, so so last I talked about it, you know, it was previous mayor and we were goofing around with the quotes and it kind of got. You know, by the time we got some fence quotes, it was whatever it was and Lynn couldn't do it, so we've got to get this in the pipeline. Because now it has been a priority project for years and now the trail walked away, so we need. Trail rehab and then fence, and then we can open that trail up over there, and that's a good connection to the rest of the trail. And we have to get ready because we have to hold the barracks accountable. And Dave has got eyes on this, as a matter of fact, to the trail that's going to be placed just inside. The road on the polo fields, right? That has to be done by, if you remember now, they were going to make the trail, we were gonna provide, I think. They were providing materials, we were gonna cut the trail, we gotta look back on that, but that's no problem, we just passed it last fall, summer and fall. We have to, you know, make sure that the owner does what is expected of them. And we do what is expected of us and get that back online. You know?
Okay. We'll talk to you about it.
Yeah, he should be back too, because,
Oh, yeah.
He's coming back at 10.
yeah.
Okay. That's really all I had. I want to highlight the process that we're looking at though with the different committees and we want to propose projects, get approval, earmark funds for them. So now the only way to circumvent that process, is we find a different way to pay for things. Now, we do have things like endowments, right? So, but that's a different conversation. That's when you want to rush things through. I don't think we want to rush things through. We want to do it right and things like that. Now that's all I have.
Hey, Ron, just so you're aware, one of the proposals for the LDC property is the park.
But it included.
But it also included an exercise circuit, or somebody mentioned that at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that one, he has like 5 or 6 different elements of like, he put in solar panels, he put in like a exercise trail. That's, I think, Dave's preferred option is to make it a park.
You know, what I want to do is actually, because Jeff Robbins is part of that rec committee. He asked if we could use that part of the trail by the school. Because the school will use the heck out of it for kids.
Sure.
I was like, okay, maybe, but then maybe we can share in the cost as
Sure,
well, you know,
sure.
so.
Those machines too, just when you get to that phase,
Yeah.
try and find ones that you can call someone who's had them for a couple of years, because I've been to a few towns that have them and some are great and some rust to hell in like
Yeah.
2 winters. There, you know, it's an all-weather machine with moving parts. So like if it's not made real well,
Yeah,
and that may be where we have to not just go with 3 quotes and pick the low bid, but go with 3 quotes only if they meet.
right.
We have some good referrals. People say, yeah, we've had them for 3 seasons. We have real winters in our town and they're not broken yet.
Good point.
Because we don't want to just have rusty modern art statues
Then
instead
we're
of
in trouble with
exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
someone goes to do a pull up and all of a sudden they get, spike through their head.
Jesus.
You don't want that.
Yes, I guess not. All right. Anything else to run?
That's all I had. Thank you.
All righty. Kelly, you're up.
Fire department has not met, I already updated you on the DPW. I would like to make a motion to utilize ARPA funds. We are full-time employees who were working during COVID, 1 week salary as part of that, I'd like to make a motion now so that we can get that sent out to them. Before, not that we have a date that we have to send it by, but we keep talking about it, I want the motion made and then we can.
All right. So one clarification, the motion is for employees that were and are still full-time during, you want to say summer 2021 is the,
Nope.
I guess it's everyone's the same. It's basically if you were here before 20, like,
Anyone who worked during the closure of COVID,
it's like,
who is working full-time during that time frame.
Okay.
1 week's salary.
and to be clear, these guys that were, I didn't even realize until we were doing this, the salary review this year, you were 32 hours. That's considered full-time, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yes, I mean, everybody.
Yeah, I know. I just want to make sure that we're getting the details right so that we don't have any question if there's,
I'll second that motion.
all right. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Do you want that done before April 30th when we have to put in the report because the spending report is due?
Yeah, that makes sense to do.
Is that, do you have enough time to do it if it's by the end of the year?
I can hold my tracks.
Okay.
Let's hope that the UI is a little better than last time. huh? They built that website real terrible. It took us forever to figure it out.
What was that?
The ARPA reporting website,
Oh,
it's like a 17-step process where numbers that don't match have to, it's odd.
Yes.
So hopefully it's less crappy this time around.
I think I've asked this before, and I can't remember, but there is ultimately a deadline to use. the
We have
funds.
quite- Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah, and do you remember what, I know we asked you how much is left in that fund?
It should be our budget, it's 94.
I was gonna say, I knew it was.
Yeah, it's more than half. It's
That
more than
would
half.
be a change in the budget as well.
we're planning to use that for the AEDs, right? So that's another, that's about 10 to 15 spoken for.
I'm still waiting on prices for that, and exactly how many, that determines what the price will be. The original cost was about $2,600,
Each.
but that one, per
Okay.
AED, but that one wasn't the right one, so it's actually gonna cost more.
I mean,
I'm waiting to,
I guess I.
Not to-
need Specifics too, like I want it completely spelled out.
and these are, that's why I'm waiting, I need.
No, for the ARPA,
oh, for the raise or
Oh,
the,
you need a list of,
yeah.
Yeah, so.
so I might, I
Can
could
you
tell
give me-
we can walk through it now, right? So it's,
But should we do that in?
Private,
we
right.
should-
well, just who's here. We don't have to say what the number is.
I can give you.
Because she can be-
Give me a date. Like as of this date during
Yeah.
COVID or this time period and I can pull payroll.
Okay.
And send it to you and you can say this, but I want it completely
Yeah.
spelled out,
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So
And do you
that-
want to send us there? And we're gonna do salary as of now or salary as of
Now.
then? Okay, cool. So we'll do the current salary 1 week, if you can send us that number too.
Okay.
For each
Okay.
person, and then if they were working at, do you guys want to say July 2020?
I was gonna
Is
say,
the-
so like, you could say calendar year 2020.
Okay,
I think,
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
I just don't know when Jared started is the.
Jared was working,
Okay.
Mikey was working.
Okay.
Lynn was working, and you two were working.
not if it's 2020. That would put you back to, what's his name?
do this.
Yeah,
you can.
All right.
General motion.
That's
do that.
Well, she's just gonna give us the date, so
Because that, there was.
we're gonna finish by 10.
But
But he's not with us still, so that's fine.
No, he wasn't working during COVID, was he? He was, okay.
But
That's the
It's
thing,
strictly for-
when he and Jared were not here, it was John and not in 2020, yeah, not in 2020.
That's why we need to have this conversation.
Right, that's what I,
No, I was just trying to capture the
yeah, but that's
biggest.
what I'm saying, in 2020, you had a whole different DPW staff
Okay,
Right.
compared to what you have now. They did not come in until 2021.
So why don't you just send us the current full-time employees, their start date
Yeah.
and then their current weekly salary, and then we'll go for it.
Okay, we agree that their motion is for 2020. We should just pass that, and let the details for
That's right.
2020.
Well, the motion didn't specify that. I think we want to look at the date first. And so we gotta look at the dates that we were shut down and had.
Right, so we either need to. We either need to spend time doing that right now, or table the motion until the April 30th meeting to get it all worked out.
Okay,
And maybe we should,
Okay.
We shut down in March.
because we could work this out and we could be wrong, because we're trying to.
Yeah,
trying to do it
okay.
Fast, I'd rather us
That's
be
fair.
prudent and work out the details and have a written proposal, written resolution.
It's-
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're moving forward. and I don't
Yes.
want us to get lost.
No,
Yeah,
I hear
what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good, do it that way.
So you're gonna send us the start date of everyone who's still employed here
That's fair.
and their current weekly salary, and then we will. Polish this motion up for either our short meeting or honestly, it's only 2 weeks later.
And
It's
then
March
it's
9th.
Are you existing any police or no?
They're not. full-time.
No.
Right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table that original motion.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Just make it look good.
Nice, great.
Yes. Yeah, this-
Following through.
No, we're following.
Following.
Yeah, everything, right.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Yeah.
wrong. It's a question.
You thought you were gonna come.
I did.
April Fool.
I did. I'm shocked.
Here's my shot.
All right.
You take a nap or? All right. Anything else, Kelly?
No.
All right, any questions for Kelly? All right, on to Greg.
I don't have much. I went to the library's monthly meeting earlier this week. They're gearing up for their Great Lakes poetry sessions, and the quilt show is their big event. So that's coming up. They're gonna be using the visitor center and the Union Hotel. I don't know if that's
Oh, nice.
typical, but that's quite expansive. It requires, two venues, so.
Yeah, they,
Oh, they're
they have been doing.
Do they normally do that? Okay.
Last time it was there, the library, the here and the,
Yeah, okay.
one of the state houses, the,
Right? Yeah.
The church.
there was one down.
I mean, they're very excited
Anyway.
about quilts.
I mean,
Those shows have been.
Have you been?
I may have to go because
I went like thinking, I mean, it's very impressive geometry. It looks extremely difficult to do, but it's worth a watch.
I think I'll have to go.
Because it was also in the meeting.
We just nitpick.
He's more into coverlets.
That's, he's right, you know.
Yeah. No, but I think I'll have to go.
Coffee up your nose there? All right.
That's all,
Okay.
that's all.
Thank you. Any other questions for Greg?
Yeah.
All right, what do you guys want to do for 13 minutes?
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
We did, it was that, we already asked.
So something Greg and I have been kind of talking about, and I think no one's gonna disagree with us on this one, is. We are trying to get better, and I appreciate seeing Jim Corbin's letter in this month's thing. When we talk about old business. Put a category in there that kind of identifies, like, yeah, I know you guys may have been talking to her in the background, but say Sherry Gerwin. I want to make sure we're keeping track of the correspondence from the constituents month to month, just to make sure we are getting back to them with a formalized letter.
Yes.
Well, how about-
Just like open, we need like, I think. The project tracker may be too high level, but we need something that's just like open issues, like a bullet list.
Village resident, letter in, how we addressed it.
Yeah, I'm thinking of we had a couple residents down behind the third alarm building.
Keep those.
We at least need to acknowledge their letter. And
We did,
So-
and so that,
Date, who, if it was a mayor letter, if it was a
Okay.
contact
Yeah.
with us. It could be a Google thing, so we could actually go in and.
Yeah. I think
so in the case of that one, I'll give you an example, and you maybe can tell me if we need to do one more step. they reached out to me. I forget if it was text or Facebook. We had a discussion. I talked to Lynn. Lynn went out and looked. I let them know what Lynn said, that he believes that it resolved itself already and that he is not done with the drainage ditch and it will get better once he does. And that's happening in the spring. And then I forget the gentleman's name, but he said, just FYI, in order that this gets recorded, I'm sending a letter saying the same thing we talked about to the village office, but you've already responded and we're good.
Yeah.
So that's like, at that point, that's why I haven't sent him another,
I would like to see us,
have a formal response.
for every written piece of correspondence, we get a written
Okay.
response, even if it's just to acknowledge.
Candid letter.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you for your
I
attention.
mean, whether we agree or disagree with what they're saying,
Just acknowledge
just,
that we're in receipt of
yeah.
it and we're.
yeah.
Okay. for it.
And do you want that to come from Peggy or?
I mean, you can at least keep a log, all right? Public comment.
Do you want to add something in Drive to?
Yeah, I think.
Sure.
I think we do
Just a log of correspondence, that's easy.
You know, and then we can follow along. see-
And that's easy enough too, because I can screenshot if somebody Facebook messages me or something and just add that there.
Yeah,
Because it's odd to like, I'm not always sure like what's worth. If I get a text saying, hey, when's this event happening? Like, I'm not gonna email you guys all and be like, FYI, this resident texted me a question.
No.
But it might be nice to just have a
Yeah.
repository for all those.
definitely anything in writing should get a.
Warrants response, yeah,
Yeah,
a letter. This made me happy to see.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Yeah, Jim's pretty quick on the ball.
but. That was it, that's all I had.
All right, so we don't have any other old business, any new business? Nobody wants to throw something here, we got 9 minutes, 30 seconds.
No, we don't.
All right, is there anybody left on Zoom? We got a few people.
Public comment?
No new business, all right, moving on to public comment.
Does Zoe get extra credit? She's the one that stayed out. The only one, so like. So.
Extra credit. Good job, Zoe.
Zoe, you got any questions for any fast curveballs for Mark?
don't, but I would love some extra credit. I'll take it.
She's not there.
No, she hit the mute button, but
She's left.
Oh, maybe you can't hear me.
She's talking.
oh, you know why? Here, hold on.
Zoe,
Give me a.
we're gonna.
All right, we can hear you now.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yay, I'm here. Yeah, I'll take some extra credit. That never hurts.
Now, they're not speaking to you.
Is it in the extra credit budget? Is there a line item?
Any comments, Zoe? Just, you know.
No, this was very interesting. I'm glad that I got myself up.
Good, because
I mean,
the board.
I feel very straight. I'm like a very non-traditional student. I'm not like an 18-year-old kid. I work full-time at JCC, so I just got back from recruitment and I'm a little tired, but it was a good meeting.
All right, well, thanks for joining.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Sure.
All right, anyone here for public comment? Connie, you have anything for us? All right, I think hearing none, I'll close public comment.
I'm not gonna make the motion.
You guys want to have a moment of silence? We did it under 2 hours.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
We should always staff these meetings up.
Somebody make a motion to close.
I'll make that motion. Back to adjourn.
All right, all in favor?
Well, no.
Yeah. All right.
Nay. Thank you.